Welcome, everyone, to the Castora Thought Leadership Dating Game. I know that this is what you've been waiting for all day, and so I'm really pleased to welcome you guys here way back Wednesday from the 70s. And today we have an amazing show planned for you. So the first person that I'm going to bring up is our esteemed marketer. So Joe, will you join me on stage here? So, welcome. Take a seat. And there's a mic there. So Joe joins us from Scotland, and or she's a Scottish native. She actually joins us from London. But in either case, she is repping her hometown and drinking on the job. So thank you, Joe, for assuming the role.
It's the only way you could get me on stage.
And Joe is the head of CRM and marketing at Mr. Porter. So I'm not sure how many of you guys have shopped them before, but at least some of the guys in the room probably have shopped there. So Joe, tell us a little bit about yourself. And what we really want to know is, what do you look for in a thought leader?
Okay. I'm pretty nervous, so excuse me. And if I talk too fast, Carlos is going to wave at me to slow me down. Carlos is also from Mr. Porter. What do I look for in a thought leader? I like them tall, no mustache, 20/20 vision, stylish is of course.
Oh, I got the stylish down.
You've got the stylish down. Brown's a hot trend this season, in case you didn't know. So yeah, that's what I'm after, and someone who thinks big.
Sounds like a great guy. Fortunately, Joe, we've got 3 people that meet that exact description. So we're going to bring up our 3 thought leaders that you're going to have the opportunity to choose from today. Before we do that, though, since thought leadership is blind, we're going to ask you to blindfold yourself as we bring up them so you can't quite see them. And I should let everyone know that when we talked about doing this, Joe informed me that this is not her first time putting on a blindfold. So, thought leaders, if you could join me on stage. Yeah. Okay, you can take it off now. All right, so welcome, thought leaders. We're going to start by having you introduce yourself. So, Adam, thought leader number 1. Tell us who you are and a little bit about yourself.
I am Adam Solomon, and I am the Chief Product Officer for Pebble Post. We invented programmatic direct mail, which is a little bit like the Reese's Peanut Butter Cup of marketing channels, the 2 great tastes that taste great together. All the best of digital and data and programmatic married together with the efficacy of direct mail. We pick up signal from your website. We dynamically render physical pieces of mail, postcards, and catalogs within 24 hours in the mail and onto the consumer, and then we pick up the return path activity.
Well, it certainly sounds delicious. Thought leader number 2, Matt, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
What have I gotten myself into? So I'm Matt Roach. I'm the CEO of Extol. We are a referral marketing company. And a lot of folks talk today about how you want to use all this advanced math to find your highest quality customer. What our goal is to make higher quality customers, is to encourage people to advocate, make them become better customers, encourage them to tell their friends about a product, which tends to bring in higher quality customers. But what I find the most exciting thing about referral marketing, sort of apropos this discussion, is if you really want to have a good relationship, you do want somebody that buys things all the time. But what you really want is somebody that says nice things about you when you're not in the room.
Thank you. And thought leader number 3, Forrest.
Hey, Forrest Bronson, CEO of Email Aptitude. We love email. We're a full-service ESP agnostic email agency, clients on probably 15 different platforms, and we do everything from strategy to design to deliverability, pretty much soup to nuts. Happy to be here.
Excellent. So, Joe, it's time for you to get to know our thought leaders a little bit better. So we're going to start with some personal questions, and then we'll get on to the meatier topics. But before I do that, if you haven't already registered for the polling, this is going to be an interactive session. So 22333, you text CARMA to that number. Make sure you do it now because it takes a few minutes to register. And then we want to make sure that we get the audience participating. So we will start with Adam, thought leader number 1. You were an intellectual property lawyer before joining the world of advertising and marketing. What is your favorite legal-themed TV series or movie?
Well, I started off as an aerospace engineer, then became a patent attorney, and now I do technology. So where do I go for life lessons and inspiration? Star Trek. So I know, so hot. So there's an episode of Star Trek: The Next Generation called Measure of a Man, where the android Data, there's a legal issue with whether he, as the AI, is property or person. And I think what's interesting and relevant about that today is that we're not at that stage yet, although Elon Musk will tell us we're right around the corner from trying to figure out whether AI is sentient or not. However, as we've heard throughout the day today about machine learning and AI and the application of that to learn things about people, that pretty soon we are going to have legal and ethical and societal questions that come up as we use the power of this technology. So just kind of weaving some things in together there.
So, Joe, I don't know if you're into nerds, but he sounds like one smart cookie.
I'm more of a Good Wife fan. That would be my answer.
Okay, thought leader number two. Thought leader number two, we often hear that thought leaders are great networkers, and they're often very social. When you were a kid, did you have tons of friends? How do you maintain today such a broad network of connected followers?
When I was very young, I was very, very shy. And I didn't talk at all until I was in high school. But I made up for all the lost time. I had a lot of friends in high school. And for the most part, I just like being around people who are interesting and want to talk about interesting things. You know, even when I'm in a sales role, like I like just hearing what people have to say. So I think most of the way you make a network is you just listen to people and have interesting conversations.
So someone could call you a good listener. So Joe, if you like long,
Sorry, what was that?
very quiet walks on the beach, thought leader number two might be for you. And thought leader number three, you join us from the sexy Bay Area. Can you tell us what your favorite thing to do on the weekend is?
Show of hands, who has kids here? Young kids? A couple? I have a 3.5-year-old and a 10-month-old, so my weekends long gone are the sleep in, Sunday brunch weekend. So it's packed with taking Harrison and Claire around the city, around the Bay, doing some cool family
Two of
stuff.
them.
Teaching them email. My son's starting to get into some entry-level segmentation for Peppa Pig and Sesame Street. Yeah.
Excellent. So I'm just going to cut to the chase. This one comes with a lot of baggage, Joe. All right. So we're going to get on to our meatier topics now. So again, this is your opportunity, audience, to participate. Thought leaders, we're going to ask you not to turn around, but to use those whiteboards next to you. So as we bring up the questions, we're going to ask you them. They're going to be directed at each one of you. You can write your answer down on the whiteboard. And then, Joe, feel free to jump in and respond as you wish as well. All right, so let's get started here. So Adam, thought leader number one, what is the best way to use personalized direct mail? And the options here are based on demographics, based on past behavior, based on real-time intent signals, or based on expected future behavior. So audience, this is live. You guys can begin to vote. This one is just for Adam. We have a clear winner here. We are at a customer analytics, predictive analytics conference. So I like that we're seeing some based on expected future behavior. Ooh, we have inked out all of the above coming in there. All right, Adam, so as the last couple of these come in, if you could turn your answer around and share it with the group. E? Okay. So tell us why you think all these options are great for programmatic direct mail, a new channel that people probably aren't thinking a lot about.
Well, I think what's really interesting, and there's been a lot of discussion about direct mail today and how to use segments coming out of Castor or other platforms for direct mail. And what's interesting about programmatic direct mail, it is this Reese's Peanut Butter Cup kind of application where you can use demographics, you can use psychographics, you can use intent signals, and you can use the machines to look at propensity for the future. What's different about, as you look at your different channels, whether you're looking at display, email, programmatic direct mail, social, and so on, is that it really is the right tool for the right job. And folks who've done direct mail in the past know it is incredibly effective. You don't have all the noise of what's going on in the mobile environment, the desktop environment. Things aren't flashing in your face. It's a quiet moment, and it's actually part of a daily ceremony. Someone goes to the mailbox, you take something out, you look at it, you sort it, you have to read it. 100% viewable. You have to look at your mail in case you have a bill or a summons to go to jail or something like that. So you have to read your mail, and you put it into piles. The stuff I'm going to get to, the stuff I don't want to get to. You could put it up on the fridge. And so programmatic direct mail has a place. And so if you have the combination of it's the right person with the right signal, the propensity, but they're not ready to transact just right now, then maybe they aren't appropriate for digital display retargeting. Maybe they're not appropriate for email just yet because they're inundated, and you know from the past they don't open their email at all. But maybe programmatic direct mail is the proper channel for them because it's a quiet, highly effective channel that they can use to get back online and convert, or even better, they can take that and walk it into a store. So it's online to home and perhaps even back to store. So it's the right channel for the right job, and you can use all those signals to help inform, segment, and target based on who a user is and what they're doing.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear you talk about this. It's great to see that you're in agreement with the audience here. And I think what's so interesting about what's happening with both of our digital and more traditional channels is this opportunity now to actually target customers. So traditional direct mail, maybe you were doing RFM segmentation, but in most cases, you're really just spraying and praying. You're sending out those mailers to everyone. And so just the fact that we can do anything now to target an individual user, think about what their intent was, use some signals based on what we think they might be interested in the future, and bring that information to them through any channel, I think is a really significant opportunity. Joe, I don't know if you're doing any direct mail at Mr. Porter. Okay, so she has nothing to add, but you probably really enjoyed the answer.
I did.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on to our next question. This one is for thought leader number 3. All right. What is the most meaningful approach in email marketing? Options are geo-targeting, persona-based targeting, lifecycle marketing, personalized product recommendations, or promo blitz. That one's my favorite. I like a good deal.
What was that first one?
First one is geo-targeting. Come on, everyone in the room is using promos and none of you think this is a good tactic in email? You must have been listening this morning. All right, thought leader number 3. Turn around and tell us a little bit about your answer. Persona-based targeting.
Yeah, persona-based targeting. I don't think there's one end all be all. I think it's a culmination of a lot of things, but we're doing a lot of stuff, and persona is kind of a broad term, but 2 specific examples. Looking at frequency modeling, it kind of goes a little bit beyond persona-based targeting, but looking at past user engagement, persona attributes on creating a better subscriber experience from a cadence perspective. And second is with generational segmentation. And there's a lot of talk, throwing out another buzzword, with millennials, and how do we target them more on mobile? How do we do other things to capture that market? They're a huge market, but there's a lot of other generations as well. And we've done a lot of tests in terms of times a day, types of content, device, promo type, promo saturation, et cetera. That kind of falls a little bit closer into that persona-based theme, and we're seeing some really big ones there.
So you're not quite in agreement with the audience. They were voting for lifecycle marketing. So tell us a little bit about why you think persona over lifecycle, if you had to choose one.
Yeah, so I think lifecycle, I'd want to narrow it down a little bit more. I think it's a little bit broad of a term. It kind of gets into customer journey-based marketing, right? I think they go hand in hand. So if you think about a customer journey, customer lifecycle, you're certainly going to be dialing in with certain personalization components based on personas. So it's not a one or the other. I would usually start with the persona-based because that's going to be the foundation. From there, that might apply to certain triggers, certain deployments, certain life cycles, but it's really the foundation of how you're going to sculpt your program from a content perspective, from a merchandising perspective, from a strategy perspective, and then that certainly could tie into life cycle.
So it's all about getting personalized. So you guys can see here, I mean, all of you selected it and our thought leader selected it as well, but we're moving away from the traditional spray and pray. I'll just use that terminology for a second time. Batch and blast, whatever you want to call it. The idea here is we want to find ways to make meaningful connections with our customers. So whether that's through lifecycle or through promo or through something totally different, there's a lot of opportunity out there in the data, and it's great to see that everyone's selecting ways to speak to individuals in a way that might be more relevant to them, whether it's right time, right message, right channel. Joe, anything to add?
I actually agree with thought leader C, persona based. Working in fashion, men have very different takes on fashion. I don't know what yours is, but
Ouch.
but we have designer.
I'm going to put the
contemporary,
blindfold back
luxury.
on.
Please do, you hurt my eyes. But yeah, I agree. I think persona is a really good starting foundation, and then you can take life cycle into that because different personas have different life cycles.
Awesome. So moving on to our third question here, and this one is for thought leader number 2. This one's going to be about customer advocacy. So which is better for a brand? A smaller number of widely enthusiastic advocates or a larger number of casual fans? I really hope we have a disagreement between the thought leader and the audience. All right. Why don't you hold up your answer, thought leader number 2? Ooh. All right. Well, unfortunately, thought leader number 2, the audience does not agree with you. So tell us a little bit about why you think we want a larger number of casual fans.
I just love this because in this show we have people who care about data. I have data. Like, I actually know. So it's very, very fashionable now to do influencer marketing, to say Beyonce or Justin Bieber or, some sort of glam girl video blogger. Definitely can drive a lot of reach, does not drive a lot of transactions. It doesn't drive the most important thing from our perspective, which is a quality customer. Like, a quality customer is somebody who not only buys frequently. I mean, there's lots of quality things we say, like, do they have recency, frequency, monetary value? But there's other qualities to customer, which is, number one, are they new? That's incredibly important. But more importantly, I think, is are they active and engaged? Like, do you bring in people who want to talk about your brand, who want to share your brand, who post, who rate, who refer? There's all sorts of attributes of a customer which aren't always captured in sort of some of the data we've seen today, which is just literally how much revenue did they drive or how often do they visit. So if we think about what a valuable customer is someone who spends and spends frequently, but also somebody who is active. I would venture to say that the value of any of the brands in here today could be calculated based on the level of activity of their customers this month and whether it's going up or down. So who brings in customers that are high quality? I will tell you, your customers bring in customers who are high quality. Beyonce does not bring it in. Justin Bieber doesn't bring it in. The video bloggers don't bring it in. It's the people who already love your brand who can basically give your brand message in an incredibly authentic way, in a believable way, in a rewardable way. Those are the ones who bring in quality customers.
And how many of you think about referrals or think about opportunities to ask your customers? We can just do a show of hands here. There's no poll question for this one. Think about a way to encourage your customers to bring people into the brand or to share things. At least a few. I see Kelly's hand go up. I know that they're incredibly in tune with what the customer is thinking, so I can imagine that. Joe, what about you guys? I know you put a lot of effort into the presentation of the goods that people buy. I wonder if there's a side of that has anything to do with social sharing or the experience, how they might talk about that experience with others.
We've looked at referral programs. For us, they feel a little bit off-brand, just the typical ones, the kind of big batch and blast. We kind of feel like if the product is good enough, if the experience is good enough, then the guy's going to talk to his friend about it in the pub. And that's kind of what we live by in Mr. Porter, the pub test. If you wouldn't say it to your friend in the pub, we wouldn't say it on our emails or on our site or in any of our editorials. So we kind of just think it's implied. If we're doing our job right, we're getting referred anyway.
Great. Okay, we have a second question for you, thought leader number 2. This one is, what is the most effective incentive to drive customer advocacy? Is it good karma, cash rewards, cream, or experiences?
Did you say cream?
Cash rules everything around me.
Oh. What is it again? I'm sorry. So karma, cash rewards, or what was the third?
The third one is experiences. And there was supposed to be some lubricants served at this session as well. So I apologize, guys, that you'll have to wait until 5 to get access to those. But hopefully you're still enjoying yourselves.
Lubricants are a terrible reward. I'm just going to
All right. So, thought leader number 2, what do you think is the best reward experiences? So we are in agreement here with the audience here. So tell us a little bit about how do you go about implementing that, and why do you think that matters?
This is, it's such a great question. So if you look at probably the best company, the most advanced referral program out there now is Tesla. And, I look, it's like everybody talks about Tesla, right? They have no shortage of branding, no shortage of awareness, and yet they do incentivize referrals, and they're not dumb guys. So we sort of have to ask ourselves why, right? They initially had cash. The reason why we use cash in most cases, or the true international currency right now, which frankly is Amazon gift cards, is because I don't have to pick what you would like as different from what you would like. It's very, very difficult to come up with specialized rewards and target. It's no different than the situation you face with personalized emails. Is finding a reward that's uniquely compelling for different personas is extremely difficult. So we recommend that people start with something that's more neutral, a gift card to their own brand, points that they can spend, something which is a cash equivalent, which is very easy for people to understand. The more they have to decode, like, well, we're going to give X amount of money to Habitat, the lower response rate you'll get. I mean, that's just, we've demonstrated that. However, as you develop it, like what we're doing with companies like Amex, is you got to start thinking about what is something that's really much more unique to your brand that you can do. And that your ability to deliver on that is going to be your ability to build these really rabid fan bases. And I think you're going to see that over the next couple of years, more and more of people will move past the kind of gift card, coin-operated referrals and more into a experience-based referral.
Joe, do you have anything to add there? I know you guys are obsessed with the customer experience.
Do you guys have Monzo here? Monzo? No. It's it's a startup company in the UK that's changing the way banking works, and they have a really good referral scheme that doesn't give any reward, but actually something crazy like 93% of their customers have been referred by someone, and people are doing it for free, and it's all about being in the know and being the first person to tell someone about that. And that, I think, is how Mr. Porter works. Like, we're not that well known, and people like to be able to tell other people about it. So it's not one of the answers up there. It's more just you get to have one up in your friends and say, I know this really cool company. Why don't you check it out?
Yeah, well, it kind of dovetails with the experience piece as well. So, I mean, your customer experience is the uniqueness of the brand, and potentially that the brand is not, mass market yet, and so it could fit in there as well.
I tell you, that is a great point. So when you say we pay or don't pay for referrals, everybody pays for referrals. The question is what type of reward. If you are coming out with new products regularly, if you're doing the level of investment and innovation that Tesla is doing, then that is the reward you're giving. Can I give you access to something? Can I make you aware of something? That is a great reward. For a lot of companies, we don't have that necessarily. That bank will be able to do that referral for exactly 2 years, and the same thing will happen as what happened with Rue. Rue had 85% referrals, now they have 10, right? So you're only new. That initial investment in being new is only the reward for so long. And then you have to ask, are you going to invest in a lot of innovation, communication, videos, or are you going to invest in, incentives? And either one works.
Has anyone here ever gotten an experience-based reward for referral or for engaging with a brand? And want to share it?
So I don't know exactly what you mean, but SoFi has a lot of community-based campaigns, and SoFi also is a pretty financial company, and I think it works really well in terms of creating a community and things that we talk about and customers and stuff.
Cool. All right, moving on. So, Forrest, thought leader number 3. This question is for you. Which channel generates the most revenue? Display, email, social, direct mail. So I guess everyone here could have a different answer. We're trying to look for industry-wide, which channel do we think generates the most revenue?
Display, social, email.
Display, email, social, direct mail. So I'll let everyone know that I got this one wrong, but it seems like you guys are getting the actual right answer. Forrest, can you turn yours around and share with us? So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks keep asking, is email dead? I've been answering that question for 10, 15 years. Yeah, I mean, email's the powerhouse, right? It's the backbone of pretty much any marketing program. We have clients ranging from fast growth to global enterprise, and I think all but 2 clients, email's their highest revenue generating channel by orders of magnitude. We recently did some studies with a lot of our clients that are predominantly millennials, right? 90% plus millennials, and even there, with the sexiness of Instagram and Snapchat and everything else, email still is the primary driver. I mean, study after study shows that folks prefer email as the primary channel for marketing communications. They use other channels for social, but they would prefer email for receiving and communicating with brands. And email's awesome, right? Email's awesome.
So think about that for a minute. So if email is the highest revenue driving channel, it's also the cheapest channel, potentially, or could be the easiest channel to connect with your customers because you actually know who it is you're speaking to. Yet it tends to be the channel where we do the least amount of actual segmentation and targeting. So the budgets on Facebook or the budgets for retargeting often dictate that we have to be extra careful about how we communicate on those channels because we want to make sure we get a return on our spend. And then we look at email and we say, well, that's our free channel. When in reality, that's theoretically the most important channel. The most amount of your revenue is coming through that channel. We got to think about how do we actually communicate with those customers, because if they decide to no longer hear from you on that channel, it's a really, really big missed opportunity. So we're going to wrap up here with our last question. This one for thought leader number 1. So Adam, you have a background in advertising at companies like Hearst, Time Inc., Viacom, and MTV. One of the largest advertising trends is the incorporation of CRM, data, and targeting in the ad tech world. How is CRM data changing the game for advertisers? This is not a poll, by the way. This is just an open question to you.
Write your answer.
You can tell there was a lot of rehearsal.
Jeez, I wiped the slate and all that shit. Well, Joe, perhaps you're the kind of marketer who's looking for a technology that can go both ways. And so we know that ad tech and martech kind of grew up separately and never the twain shall meet. Martech coming out of CRM, database marketing, and ad tech, coming out of digital display and so on, and now with programmatic. And a lot of what we heard today in the conference is about how to bring these worlds together and how to take the best of CRM and apply it to prospecting and traditional advertising using lookalike audiences, predictive modeling, and so on. And that's great, and people are talking, they're talking about exactly the right things. However, and this also came up today, organizationally, it does make a difference how you're structured and who's at the controls in different places. Because people are talking a great game about how to use CRM and how to look at your best customers and your worst customers and then use that to inform your prospecting activities across channels. Because people who are great customers, if you look at their attributes and you use a little AI machine learning, you can find people who look like those people who are not your customers yet, and they will be your best customers one day, and also the flip side of it. However, if your organization is siloed and the CRM folks are in one place and the prospecting and advertising folks are in a different place, all the technology in the world is really not going to help you. So you can get on one stack, but it makes a difference who you work with. And as a technology company, and some of you may see this as well, we see this every day because we know the benefits of the technologies and we know how these pieces work together. However, it seems like we're still, as we talk to organizations, there's the CRM team, and then there's the prospecting or the advertising team, and you have to start in one place and go to the other, and then you're passed back and forth, and it's clear that those folks aren't coming together. So we do need technologies that go both ways. We do need the MarTech and AdTech to come together in one stack, one single source of truth, data that can be used across all channels. But organizationally, folks need to get together and figure out how we're going to make this work, because it's not a marketing funnel that goes from top to bottom and then the story's over. It's from top to bottom, around again, sideways, around. And so there's how to get a customer, how do you get them to come back for more, and then how you go find your next one.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it echoes what we heard from McKinsey earlier. It seems like some of the channels and opportunities that have been around the longest are the ones where we're seeing the least amount of innovation. So display ads are definitely not new, yet this idea of getting your actual first-party data into those ads to make them smarter is something that very few retailers are actually doing today. It's really something that's just on the cusp. And I would say to all of you, it's a really big opportunity. if there's not a lot of people doing it effectively, a lot of people are just sort of out there, we don't pay attention to those display ads, and then suddenly yours come up and you're actually using your first-party data and really communicating with a customer, communicating with prospective customers in ways they're not used to hearing, it's likely to break through the noise. So it's interesting when you see some of these areas that it seems so intuitive, yet we're not necessarily seeing the investment or the opportunity there as quickly as we might have expected. Anyone today using their first-party data in display? First-party data, your CRM data. Oh, that's great. Anyone want to talk about it? Okay. Fair enough. You keep your private matters to yourself. All right, Joe. We are at that time in the show when it's time for you to select your favorite thought leader. So your options are thought leader number 1, which is Adam from Pebble Post. He's an expert in traditional and emerging advertising channels, and he's also a nerd. We have thought leader number 2 from Extol, that's Matt, who might know a lot about social engagement and targeting online, but he doesn't seem particularly socially adept. And then we have thought leader number 3 from Email Aptitude, and that's Forrest. And he knows the ins and outs of the most important channel of the year, last year, this year, the foreseeable future. But as we said in the beginning, he comes with a lot of baggage.
I don't know. I think I'm going to have to take all 3. Sorry.
It's a miracle. And the fact is that actually all of you get to spend time with our amazing thought leaders as well. So we're going to have a happy hour from 6 to 9 tonight with lots of food at Freeman's. We encourage you all to come there, get to know these guys, get to know Joe. It's a great opportunity for all of you to network. And we hope that you all set up dates with everyone that we had up here. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm taking this thing.